Welcome to Stock Chart Talk, swing trading and day trading, the bull zone and bear zone alerts, brought to you by swingtradersetups.com. Charts are provided, swingtradersetups.com, charting and trading package. We generally let this run automated end of day. We stream it live on YouTube at 5:30 with the alerts, additions of new stocks that are appearing into the daily bull zone or bear zone list and momentum list. And it's a silent video, but today I'm going to actually go through what came up on Fridays and do some verbal audios on it. And we're also going to look at a few of the stocks that came up on Thursday's alert list to place on our scans for the breakouts on Friday. This will also give us an opportunity to not just show the momentum break chart that you normally see in the videos. As you can see on the left over here, this is a daily support resistance chart. Orange and blue lines are 50 and 200 day moving averages, and the green lines represent highs. As you can see, a new high was made and a new high was visited and rejected, and again it was visited and rejected on this daily chart. You can see old lows are plotted in the pink lines. This is a 15-minute chart. If you're using intraday data, that you can see the candles interact. The orange line on this chart is the VWAP, and like here, the bright green line is the day before's high, the dark green line is today's high, and you can see this stock pull back, hold on yesterday's high, go test the VWAP, fail the VWAP, and then break down. The next day you see a gap up. The pullback to the yellow line was the previous day's closing price. Inflection points right off the inflection point of yesterday's close for a breakout. Now this was actually happening during this particular day. This is an intraday chart. You can run scans intraday as well. It's a 15-minute chart. Here was your close down here. It's represented by this yellow line over here, and you can actually put all this on this chart if you wanted to, but the pullback gapped up, pulled back right to yesterday's close right here, and then it broke out into the momentum, two blue ones at the bottom, and gave a nice run up from there. So you can use this intraday or on daily charts. This will give you a chance to see us work this. We're not going to keep the 15-minute open. We're going to keep a 60-minute open so we can be viewing longer term support and resistance areas. And remember, the bull zone level that you see up here at this time was way down here, and as this progressed, it was keeping itself above the always recalculating bull zone, and as well as down here as well. And that's graphically right on your chart intraday. That line is moving up as you're progressing in this strength move here, and that works on any time frame chart. So let's get started. We're going to do a few reviews from Thursday's alerts, and then we're going to get into the Friday charts. So we're on our daily list from Thursday's additions, and this is serving as an educational video as well as showing you how to utilize the other charts into the plan. Now this was Thursday's candle, appeared on our momentum break, and Friday you can see this action. This stock opened here, went all the way up to here, and then ended up way back down here. So it was in a short zone, and even though it opened and ran up, looks like that's around $81 to $83, a $2 run up after the open, and then it ended up way down here by the end of the day. So that's a $4 move for you from the top. Well, what happened? First of all, this is the daily chart, and this little pink line right here was at around 79.80, probably this 85 marker out here. This was this low back here. So this pivot low was the day before's low. It kind of held in there. The actual low was $80.04, very close to that support area that it had held prior. So one thing you want to be aware of when you're looking at the momentum break is where are we in reference to support resistance, and you would have saw that the day before. What happened on this morning chart, this is a 60-minute, it opened and it made a new low probably very rapidly, and then ran up all in the first 30 minutes, this hour. This is at 10:30. It went right back into this previous low up here at $83 area and rejected. That was your high. So an old low, the pink line, represents a place the stock has bounced in the past and reversed. It rejected that area when it got back up to it. That was probably the low of this candle right here. So old support becomes new resistance, and then it faded away the rest of the day. And you could have broke that down on some smaller charts than if you'd had this on your short watch. This would have been where you'd have been interested in getting in the short. And the stock continued down, made the real big break from 11:30. Looks like it opened the 11:30 candle. New candles are always interesting. And this one actually only went up 6 cents above its open price on that new candle, and then went down that entire huge move of multi-dollar moves in the next hour. I'm going to try to rapidly move this now that I kind of explained those charts to the left, and you look at those as much as you can. It's another chart that appeared on the short watch list in the bear zone, and it broke down, opened, and then sold off quite a bit more. It did catch a bounce. Didn't catch a bounce off anything in particular, although this little pink line represents a place that it has bounced in the past on the daily chart, way back here. But it was not really prevalent in your glancing at the chart. Also keep in mind, we're really looking for consolidation breaks on this daily chart, and this is a case that it was not a consolidation break. This was a gaining momentum when it came up on the alert on Thursday. And remember as well, if you're running these on live intraday data, you can catch this alert when it broke out. This actually broke out. This bullseye line was way down here at that time. So if you're intraday scanning these, you can see this breakout and the exact level of the bull zone at that time on the previous day. So you could intraday trade these on the breakout alerts. Now what happened to this particular stock is you had an old high on the 60-minute chart going back multiple days, several days back, about a week, maybe a little longer, and it opened pretty much above that old high, gave a quick dip down, and then turned back up for that momentum break. And then the next day you had continuation. Now you had a little pullback right here in the first hour. And what happened? Well, here's your daily chart. You also broke up through this orange line, which was your 200-day. The next morning it went down near the 200-day. The low of day was actually 96.80, 96.69 is your 200-day. So it kind of gave you a retest back to the 200-day, and then off the 200-day this stock moved about $1.50. This is not a big ATR stock. That's using these charts to interact with what you're seeing on the daily chart. This is an example of a chart that when it appeared on the momentum the day before, it actually gapped down. I prefer that they just trade through the line and give the momentum rather than the gap downs. I'm not real crazy on the gappers as far as using this. And this again is not a consolidation. This is just momentum to the downside. So this is not actually what we're trying to find, but you can still look at the chart and see what was going on with it. And that's why I wanted to show this. One, to demonstrate that this is not a consolidation break, and that's primarily what we're trying to find. But what was going on the chart is it broke down through the 50-day the day before, and now it's come back up and it's right below the 50-day. And this is a 60-minute chart. This is what happened on Friday after we had that alert. It's going back up near these old lows. So this old low is going to serve as resistance like it did right over here. Probably reject again here and reject the 50-day as well, and probably continue this on down. Now if this stock were to gap above the 50-day and gap above this line, then that is support. And that's what you want to watch to see what this stock does in this area for the next day or two. The ALXN, again, this is not a consolidation break, but it's momentum to the downside. Showed up the day before. I believe maybe this was earnings or a downgrade of some type. And you can see the day before it went right into this support line, and then it broke down through it all day. What did it do on Friday? It gapped up slightly, ran up near this resistance area. Now that we've broken down old support, new resistance, like you've always learned. We're also, look where we're at here on the 50-day. We were right on the 50-day the evening before when we closed. So we gap up a little bit, we test this old low, we reject, and it sells off some more during the day, and that probably is not over. Do have the 200-day next in line down here, and that's several dollars from where we are on this particular close here. Another $4 down to the 200-day. This stock's a great example of two different things. One, we obviously know when it showed up on this candle of picking momentum back up by this blue one dropping down here and rejoining the upper blue one. We're not in a consolidation break. This was your breakout back here. We are also running into the old high over here. This is a daily chart. This was a previous high going back some number, even beyond where we're looking at here. This was from September of 2017. So this line was actually already there. The value of this line, I'm looking over in this right hand area. I'm going to pick up what that value is. It's going to be right around $34. $34.20 is this value. And the high of this particular day right here was $34.18. That's right in this box right here. $34.18. This was $34.20. So this went in 2 cents of that high and rejected. That was actually recorded all over a year ago. Stocks remember where they've been. So that's why you want to have your support resistance lines and reference those. It could have broken out. In this case, you'd want to see a gap above that, come back and touch it and go again. What it did was head back down. So this is a case that the stock has already ran too far to be our consolidation break candidate, which it has given a pretty nice little move here. That's probably 6 or 7% move here in just a few days, and now it's run into old highs and it's pulling back. Now it may pull back right here to this consolidation area and bounce and head back up again. This was another stock that actually started the downtrend back here. It's been basing on the highs almost every day. This is not a great day trading stock. It's a lower ATR stock. But what it did here on Thursday, it picked up momentum again on this big candle down, but it also went back here and double bottomed to this little pivot right here. This stock had already picked up momentum to the downside. It's probably going down further from the looks at it. Again, this is not a great consolidation area. It's a small consolidation that has already broke down up here. This would have probably came in on a 60-minute chart for the same thing we're looking at here on the daily. What you can see over here on this high from yesterday is it's going back into these recent lows and rejecting it, hadn't got back through there. Also, you can see over here on the daily that it's pulled back near the 50-day. So this stock may actually end up holding here. That's going to be the key inflection point right now is this 50-day chart line over here at $40.11 right now. Also notice back to the left when this stock was coming up in these other days recently right here, it was going into old highs. They were not the highest highs, they were just old highs where it had pivoted before. As you can see back here to the left, two different times. This was a same area, and this is obviously a big resistance area. So if you were in a long from way back here or anywhere along this way, you would be expecting a possible failure here. This is CI. This big candle preceded momentum the next day as this continued on up. This was chatter. I believe Carl Icahn had taken a large position in this stock, and it came out and gave this huge run up. This all happened in 6-8 minutes, and for an intraday trader, we have a great opportunity. I got two really good shorts off of this in about a 6 or 7 minute period coming back down here. That's a different story, a different trade. This is a breakout the next day, and then you can see on Friday this continued on up again, and that's when it got on our momentum list. Was actually on Thursday's action, and then Friday it gave another huge run. But most of this happened in the first hour, as you can see from this 60-minute chart, and then it just went sideways all day. This was the day for the real trading on the stock after this particular chatter move, and this was what you had here, big run up at the open. At the end of the day, that's where that chatter came in. This was the next morning right here, ran up, pulled back, and then gave a nice little progression up the rest of the day there for several dollars. We're going to move on to Friday's actual alerts, and Friday stocks I have not even looked at, so we'll be freshly looking at those together. This is CLVS. This is another one from Thursday. This was already hinting of the momentum to the downside way back here. Had a couple of green days and then came back in on Thursday, and you can see it opened and just a big move down again on Friday morning after it appeared back on our list on Thursday. Now you can also look over at your daily chart and see what's going on here. On Thursday, when it ran up here and failed, it ran up into the 50-day. It ran up into this old low on the daily chart from way back here, February of 2018. This was a big support area, and now every time we get below it, it becomes resistance, and this is what it's dealing with. And it pretty much went up and retested that. When you retest a support area and you fell it, pretty good sign you're headed down. So it retested that support area. It did fail it. It also is right under the 50-day. And then it broke down, and the momentum showed up on the alert by the end of that same day. And then you had this big move again on Friday. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by SwingTraderSetups.com. It's a $39 a month subscription package. You can run this on free end of day data for the daily and weekly breakouts, and then if you have live data or even some of the other providers such as TD Ameritrade, IB, and many others, you can plug those into NinjaTrader for live trading results and scans off these 15-minute, 10-minute, 3-minute, doesn't matter. This works on all time frames. So if you've got that available to you, you can actually use that as a no-cost data plan and just have this for $39 a month. If not, you'll have to purchase a data plan, which can be purchased as low as $72 a month for 100 symbols and up to 90. I think it's $92 or $94 for 500 symbols, and that's available to you on Kinetic for $72, and then on IQ feed, you can get 100 symbols for $92. And we can also tell you how to get a 14-day free trial on the IQ feed data plan. If you link from our website over there, we can show you how to do that. That 14-day free trial through IQ feed, we've actually arranged for our customers. We have to provide you with a link from our website to sign up for that, and they're going to give you a 14-day free trial to IQ feed. Now theirs is a minimum of a 500 symbol plan, and it's $92 or $94 a month, including exchange fees. They're going to give you a 14-day free trial over there, no obligation with them. It is your responsibility to cancel prior to the end of the 14 days. That's a normal 7-day free trial. We've got extended for our customers to 14 days. What's going on with this chart here? And remember our Active Trader package. If you're using that package and watching these videos, you also, this is all included in the package. This exact charts, as well as our algorithm factor system we use, both are included in the Active Trader setups package. So you can be using these for your 15-minute, 30-minute breakouts in the mornings. You can be using them for your 5 and 10-minute consolidation breaks up or down in the afternoons, as well as then referring to your factor charts for what's going on those as well. So that this package comes with the other package. You can use it for end of day and so forth. Now, what's going on with this chart? Well, first of all, back here, this is what we're looking for. We've got a nice consolidation, and when you get the double blue one break, both at the same time simultaneously, and you get a nice bullish candle up through what then was the bullseye level, was probably plotted down in this area, strong close well above that, this is where you're going to get a breakout in a multi-day run. This is the trade we're looking for. What's going on here? This consolidation now, it has ran up into this area multiple days. It couldn't get through here, just made some new highs, and when it first broke out back here on around the 6th, which I think is right in here, it had gone up and pushed through this old high and then faded back into it, spent a couple of days below it, and it broke back above it. And when it broke above it, it spent 2 or 3 days basing right on that old high, old resistance, new support. It came back, tested it, lost it, got back above it and held it, and then it broke again. Intraday it broke back up. It didn't run a real long way after that, but that's what's going on over there. Now it's sold off. It's back to that level. It held it for a day, ran back up slightly, and it's pulled back, and now it's fell this level. That's support. We've lost support right here. That's your support line. That's the key level you've got to get back above, and it's showing momentum trying to gain to the downside. You also went down and hit your 50-day here. Your close on this chart right here was 65.10. 65.41 is your 50-day. So we've lost support. We're testing the 50-day. We're showing momentum gaining to the downside. This stock, if it gaps down in the morning, probably goes back up, revisits the 50 and fails. If it gaps up above this support line, then that's where you got to stay above. It could actually open, run up, hit this level, and reverse again and head back down. That level is right in the 66.50 area. You have to look over on the side chart over there. It's 66.60. It was shown in there, the green line. You hold your mouse, you look over there, you find something close. Many times we have them actually labeled out here for you. We don't label them all because they get very congested sometimes. AGN has been a monster for weeks. Back here on the daily, you can see when it broke out this last area in May, which was way back here, toward the end of May. Actually, it was 1st of June. Right here, this pink line goes all the way back into 2017. Was old support. It served as resistance in mid-May in this area here, it's kept tapping this line, and it couldn't get through, and it was tapping the 50-day as well. Finally gapped up right here through the 50-day, got above that support resistance line that's been really holding it back for quite some time, and gave a really nice multi-day run up near the 200-day, and then started consolidating again. And it spent quite a bit of time in that area. Okay, we'll pull back here on the first part of July, then broke again. Another pullback 20th of July, then broke again, and now it's showing a little more momentum gain into Friday. Now whether it can go much further, I don't know. You got this old pivot high right back here where it hit the 200 and failed in the past, and that level is 193.33 right here on your chart. That's the last big pivot high. So the closer it gets to that, the more likely it is maybe to do a pullback. So this is not a consolidation break, it's just had momentum again from this little area here on Friday, and could very easily break on out and head on up to the 193.33 area, and that's where I'd start getting more worried about it. I want to share our algo chart with you for our swing traders. This is the pullback right here on July the 3rd or 2nd, right in this area, and it actually had pulled back enough on June 20th to break down into our downtrending charts. And this is on a big algo, a 100 algo chart, 100 factor, dollar factor. And now when it came back up, did our little dance off our line like we teach, and it really broke out right here around 172.85. We got our two blue ones, we had our force alert, and we also had huge on our edge alert, very strong. And this gave these little dotted lines are days now. Gave a nice break from multi-days, and that was this little run you had right here. Everywhere since then, we got one little spot here. Generally we won't turn red until we're below it, so when we occasionally see a little red dash, it just barely was enough downward movement here to turn that back red, but it went right back green the next same day. Actually didn't close red. And like I say, when we're above the line, we don't put that much significance in it unless we start chopping sideways, and then it's probably going to go back red again. But this stock has held what we teach all the way. Every step of the way it's held the levels, and this is like an automated trend line in our system. It's our trend shift pivot zone. As long as we keep it green and we keep holding those levels, this is a little gap down one morning and turn right back up again, and the momentum just keeps gaining. Everywhere you see the blue ones regain at the bottom here, this stock on this particular middle of the day, this was the next morning, this was the end during the day. Next morning the stock was back up $1, actually $2, and started back up again. It picked back up the upper blue one, which is a momentum indicator, and then it caught the lower blue one again that day by 10 o'clock. So right here, momentum came back into this stock, and it had another 2 big days again, multi move here. So you're talking about from right here, that's $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 by the next day. Just taking the momentum increase, and then by the next morning, this stock actually late afternoon, this is 2:11 in the afternoon, this stock got really strong, and then the next morning just exploded again in the first 30 minutes. This is APTV. It's had a pretty probably 15-20 day consolidation here after this pullback, and it did pull back almost all the way to the 200 day, went back and retested these old highs and rejected twice, and now has consolidated around that level, and Friday's low actually was sitting on top of that level there, and it's back above the 50 day, so that's pretty good, and it's picking up some momentum. It tried to pick up here, did some retest on that support line. This is your support line, probably Friday's low. You're actually going all the way back here and looking at the high of this candle, which was 96.91. That's the value of this green line. That's support now. On a whole, 96, whatever I said, 96.91. Gotta get on the right candle. 96.91 is the level of this green line, and you can see it about the third green line down here. It says upper, and it gives you the value. So that's old highs, resistance, came back, retested. That's our support now, and we're trying to get this little momentum going back in here to a break to the upside. I like this chart a lot. This little stock here, definitely not a day trading stock. This reminds me of a statement. I don't remember the lady that said this. I got an idea, but I don't want to say and be wrong. A famous trader that makes many videos. In a video one day, she said, when you see wicks in your charts, find another chart. So this is one of those candidates. You definitely don't want to be trying to day trade something like this, because it moves all over the place and you've got no clue what it's going to do. For the bigger picture, it's consolidated and it's showing a slight momentum in the direction of this candle would be my guess. It could really break down here, and looking over at your daily support lines, you've got this $18.19 support right here. It needs to hold, as well as 18.22 is your 50-day. And the big deal is this green line here that's probably right around 17.99 as a support line. It tested it and held it recently. If it breaks the 50 and breaks this line, it's probably headed on down at least back to the 200, and it will be down into this area, break into our bear zone at 18.01 would be our bear zone break, and start staying below that line as it comes down. This is CREE, C-R-E-E. You can see this breakdown back in June when it showed up here. It actually showed up on a little green day. It's where the bear zone kicked in at, and you can look over here and see this green day on this daily chart sitting right on support, this green line. And the next day it gapped up slightly and headed straight down, took out the support line, took out the 50-day, and gave about a 4-day nice downward move. And you can see the same blue ones over on this support resistance chart. So that's what you're looking for. This was a green day that gave you the signal for going lower, and you refer to your support resistance and you understand exactly what's going on. Now the stock since then has bounced, consolidated for quite a bit. Pretty big candle here intraday, and then now has broken back up in momentum. Picked up a little bit on Thursday's chart, signified by the upper blue one, and then opening on Friday, this chart pushed the lower blue one down and broke into a nice momentum break. And this is what I'm talking about. You can see our bull zones at 48.35. Stock broke up through that in the morning and gave you this nice run. Actually, on the 60-minute chart, you can see that it ran up, pulled right back to this support line, 48.50. So this pullback intraday pulled right back to support, gave you a 1-hour doji, that's a decision candle, and then headed on back up, which was right in line with where that bull zone, bear zone level was at as well. Remember the advantages to subscribing to our package. One, on these end of days, the data is not prepared until about 4:45 to actually run these. So I run the scans on 925 stocks that are filtered out of, of course, a bigger list based on volume and other items. And then by the time I run my scans and get ready to do the video, it's 5:30. So that video starts going live on YouTube at 5:30, and then we produce that and put it over on Ticker TV after it's finished and processed over on YouTube, which is probably after 7 o'clock. So if you're watching us on Ticker TV and you can't get to the video later in the evening, you want to catch it earlier, you can catch it live at 5:30 on YouTube. We appreciate you guys watching. Most of our viewership is running on the reproduced video over on Ticker TV every evening. But you can also scan this same scan late in the afternoon, which is what I like to do. Intraday, I like to run my scan and see what's hit my bull zone at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where I can take a look at some possible swing trades or option trades. And then I don't have to, once the end of the day comes, I have to wait until 4:45 to run that myself, because they process the data and it doesn't become available. They say 4:30, but it's usually a few minutes after. I actually pull up the chart until it shows today's candle on there, then the data's not ready. This is after 4 p.m. This stock's kind of interesting. Been consolidating here for a bit. Tried to break back up, and if you'll watch, right here as it was getting this momentum, look over here to your right, you're hitting resistance. That's why this is provided with the package. We want everybody to understand what's going on. And here's your resistance line. This is an old high going back on the daily, way back into January. That's resistance now that it's below it. And you can see how that affected this chart. Multiple days here, it cannot get back through there. So it finally gave up. The bears won. It's pulled back, lost the 50-day. Again on the 50-day, gap down the next day. So if you were watching this momentum alert 5 days ago and you looking at support resistance, you say, hey, I think this may fail, and then you're watching it on a short watch, which is fine. That's what this information is for. It broke down through the 50-day on this candle, continuation on this candle, and then here you have it even further down. Now it's reached down and touched the 200-day. 34.95 is your 200-day. Your low a day here was 34.99. So it may hold the 200-day. It's not so far out of this consolidation area. You also, here's your 60-minute chart, which is plotting the pink line. That is this consolidation area back behind us. This is support right now. You got the 200-day there, and you got this level here at $35, and I think it's 35 cents. So actually closed above that. May very well hold. This chart's another good example. Showed up the first day on the bearish watch list right here. It really hadn't done anything, a little bull bear fight, and then gap down and continues to work its way lower. And what's going on over here? It's working the 50-day. It broke down through the 50-day. It went back and retested it, and it's grinding down. Here's an old low right here. That's this consolidation area is right here on this chart for you. It went back and kind of retested that. Latter part of the day, it needs to get back above that. If it don't, it's probably going to continue on down. Where's it headed? It's headed to this line. This is old resistance, which now is support. So that's where you'll be headed back down to, is somewhere around this $18.20 range. I think it's $18.25 is that number right there. This is DLR. It's gapped up a few days ago. I think maybe off of earnings. Been consolidating. It's a very erratic stock for day trading. It has got some pretty good momentum coming here on Friday. It's got a little ways to go back up here to those old highs at 127.23. This is a high coming across here around 124. It's going to be an issue, a little slide. Be aware of it anyway as it comes up. As you look back at this chart right here, now this was not a double blue one crossover. It indicated here it wanted to get going. It didn't get going. Why didn't it get going? This is around June the 8th. That's right here. You got this old high plotting in on this chart somewhere out of in the history back here. It ran up and couldn't get through. Also got old lows. That's old support. right above there. I don't have to go back and find where this green line got plotted. I know 100% it's to the penny where it has ran up and rejected in the past back in the area. Back in the history, excuse me. But as it broke through right here on the 29th, which was right here on the 28th, actually we showed this on the 27th, is where our lower momentum, lower blue one, pushed down. This came up on a momentum alert that day. A little inside candle from yesterday. The next morning, a little sell off and came right back up. Not a big sell off, about 65 or 70 cents, and broke out. What's going on right here at the same time? That's when you're right here fighting this support resistance line. This pink line overhead was actually going to be your biggest resistance, an old low. It bounced in the past around 110.67. Looks like this day here, and you got the 200 day, this orange line. When it finally worked its way through here on this candle, then you had this explosive move up here. This is about $8. That's a 6 or 7% move in just a few days. This is another good chart to show our algo chart. This is a big $1 factor. Right here, it finally broke this choppiness here back into the green zone. But what it was more important is it broke out all these highs, which was fighting that resistance we were just looking at, and it broke in with our blue ones. Actually, were momentumed already, and it accelerated up through our overlay on our blue ones on the chart, accelerated up through that area. Also, our force alert kicked in down here, and our edge alert had made a huge move from below our zero line up above on this one little section right here, and then the momentum picked up, and our edge actually maxed out right in here and stayed there for a couple of 3 days on this breakout, and then this can just continued on up since then. I'd like to thank you for watching our video today. Remember, these charts are brought to you by Swing Trader Setups Day Trading and Swing Trading Charting Package. I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel while you're here. Watch for more of our stock chart talk videos and the live videos on Ticker TV and YouTube on the Swing Trade momentum alerts. And remember, this charting package is a subscription service, $39 a month, no contract. We do have a $50 setup fee. We waive that for the first 60 days. So for $39, you can try this for 2 months, and after your third month, you pay the $50 setup fee. If you don't want to continue past that, then you don't have that setup fee. We don't want you to pay the setup fee. You know you want to use the service. That's a setup and a long-term license. And this is only available on NinjaTrader Charting System, which is free to use as well. And again, thanks for watching.